Hey guys, it's Will here for Semper Metallum. I have today Mike Sugar here from Psychoframe. I'm going to chat about their new record, Salvation Laughs in the Face of a Grieving Mother, out on July 25th by Sharp Tone Records. Mike, thank you so much for your time. Obviously, really appreciate it. We're all massive fans. So it's great to have a chat to you about the record and a bit more about the band as well. So we'll get straight into it. First question I have really is, obviously you guys have kind of made that step going from like EPs and singles and stuff, going straight in for the debut album after your massive signing to Sharp Tone. Seems like a big step. Was there anything that particularly informed that kind of decision, or was it a very organic thing?
So we were kind of talking to Sharp Tone here and there for a little bit before we decided to go for it. They had reached out once before. This was before our second EP, and I think we had like a little bit of a call with them, but I don't think it was anything serious. And then we kind of didn't say anything again after that. And we were like, we're going to put out another EP. And yeah, I mean, it just kind of, we hit a certain point where we started doing like our first shows. We were like, man, I think we really want to do this. And after we had like kind of got through like the spring and summer of last year, that's when Sharp Tone came back. It just kind of felt right. And we knew that we wanted to take the band more seriously. We were like, well, if we're going to do this and then we're going to start making like a full length record, this whole thing, I'd like for it to kind of reach everywhere it can. So that's the MO.
Fair enough. Yeah. It sounds like a very made sense in the moment kind of decision. It's always good when that kind of thing just kind of falls together. Did you find it harder to write the full record or against the EPs, or was it kind of just like songs you had lying around that you put together?
Full records are always harder than EPs. It's a lot of songs, you know, and with an EP, you can kind of get away with a lot of shit, you know, because it's only like maybe like 5 or 6 songs, give or take. It's just, you know, kind of all killer, no filler kind of feeling. But with an album, we had to do 11 songs that we felt like have like one big flow and is this one big presentation. So it is harder. And there's songs that didn't make it. There's ideas we wanted to try that we didn't get to do yet. It's long. It's a long process. At the end of the day, I'm really happy with what we got.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an awesome listen. Obviously, there's a lot going on. I can imagine it was quite the writing process from start to finish. So, but definitely came out worth the while and sounds amazing. As I was going to say, my next kind of follow-up, I guess, is kind of exactly what everyone's come to expect from you, really. Just kind of half an hour or so of relentless deathcore, which is absolutely amazing. Obviously, what everyone's kind of the hype around you is all for. It's just that kind of brutal and relentless deathcore. It feels like you're kind of pushing that sound every track. Like the more you listen to it and the more kind of deep you dive into the album, the more intense the kind of sound seems to get. And it seems to be kind of almost like you're pulling inspirations from all over the kind of deathcore genre and kind of putting them together into this kind of great big thing. What kind of like influences, I guess, were you consciously trying to channel, or was it very much just kind of, this is a Psychoframe record, we're going to try and make it about ourselves?
I will say, like, I lean a little more heavily towards, like, it is a Psychoframe record. When it comes to, like, our influences, like, we don't look at deathcore when we're looking for influences. We're looking towards, like, death metal, slam, and hardcore. To be honest, like, the bands that inspired proto-deathcore, like, the bands everyone knows were at the front and at the beginning, those are the bands that we love too. So we're pulling from the same well. And yeah, the album is unrelenting. And that's kind of the scarier, that this piggybacks a little bit off of the last question of like, what's harder to write? You know, the first time that we finished it or finished the mixing and like sat down, gave every track a listen, full sequence. My first fear when listening to the whole thing, I was like, have we done too much? Like, is this like tough to get through? Like, or people maybe gonna be like, I really like those first 4 songs. I have no idea what the back half of the record sounds like because I can't get there because I'm exhausted kind of thing. And then it grew on me over time. And I was like, I think I'm just in my head. Like the band has had it easy just doing the EP route, that now we're like doing this. But it definitely is everything that we've done or tried to accomplish in the past. But like, I think fully realized and maxed out for now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, it's easy to get stuck in the kind of writing process and not be able to think about how it's going to be perceived by other people if you've spent so much time around the song, as I'm sure you have. So that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, it's glad to see that it's kind of come out in a way that you guys are proud of. Kind of piggybacking off that again, I guess, is like, I like deathcore. I like a lot of different kinds of styles of heavy music, but I think in recent years anyway, I've kind of weaned a bit off of the kind of mainstream deathcore, I guess. Just in favor of other genres and things like that. And I think a lot of people are finding that it's kind of losing a lot of its roots. But I think that's where you guys kind of shine the most, really, where you've kind of picked up that fan base, is that really just kind of authentic to its roots, like you were saying, with those flagship bands that came out in kind of the early 2000s that you draw from so kind of subconsciously. You really channel those, and I think that's what kind of gives your music such a breath of fresh air around the genre. So feels like it might be a really great time for you guys to really releasing the kind of music that you are.
I hear the term, like, say, MySpace deathcore get thrown around about the band a lot. And like, I think that makes total sense. That's not really like something we consider ourselves. Like, we didn't look at the band and be like, we're going to do this the old way and we're going to sound like Despised Icon, or we're going to sound like Suicide Silence, or we're going to sound like really old Whitechapel. We didn't look at it like that. We were just like, let's just do it the old way. We have our own modern touch to it. Like, it's not like we're intentionally making, say, recordings that sound like worse than could be. We're just trying to push the narrative of what deathcore is today to us. Again, I get it. I get people comparing us and saying that we're like a new twist on, say, like a Mount Rushmore band of the genre. That wasn't what we had in mind, but it's also very flat.
In that way, were you guys saying you're pulling from the kind of different genres that you explore and things like that? Obviously, a lot of you are involved in different side projects alongside, or at least you were involved in other bands when you started Psychoframe. Obviously, you being in Church Tongue, and you've got members in kind of World of Pleasure and Killing with Sacred Deer, and also Mood Ring as well. All sorts of styles of music going on in there. But with it starting off as like a side project, do you think any of those kind of influences and those sounds that you're pulling from in those other genres are leaking into the sound that kind of makes Psychoframe what it is today?
I mean, like, in subtle ways, for sure. I've been in Church Tongue for my entire adult life. That band was never big before or anything. It was only after I started Psychoframe that then Church Tongue started getting more attention. And then, like, for the other guys, like, Mood Ring, World of Pleasure, stuff like that. I mean, Hunter was in a good couple bands that anyone could say are kind of adjacent to what Psychoframe does today. But Coulter's been in a grip of bands as well. And I don't doubt that it informs kind of where they come from. I know for me, I try not to intentionally inform what I do with Psychoframe with my experience or my intention with Church Tongue, because I just kind of think they're two very different things, and I'm trying to accomplish two completely different things. I have two different intentions with those bands. For the other guys, I can't speak for them, but like, I can say that like all the experience that we had going into this band that we didn't intend on taking very seriously, and then all of a sudden it's the thing that we take most seriously in our lives. We just wanted to do it from scratch, just do a band we never did before. I know the other things make their way in. That's kind of unavoidable, but I actively try not to.
Fair enough, yeah. I mean, obviously you can hear that your experience in the genre and in kind of the world of music kind of really elevates Psychoframe, and you have that really, really great polished production standard that you can tell that you guys know what you're doing, and that really comes across, even if it's not in the sound or the influences, like you've still got the experience there, and that really does come across. So I guess speaking of Mood Ring then, since I brought it up, the feature on the album is, I don't want to say unexpected, because obviously you guys have been associated together for a while through Hunter, but is that something you guys have been sitting on for a while and you've kind of been trying to find the right place for it, or is it something that came up within this kind of album cycle?
It just kind of came up when we were in the recording session, like most things that we do. It just kind of happened on the fly. Like, I had written an entirely different thing for that section, and I had like gone to I don't know, take like a phone call or something, came back, and Hunter and Brandon were like, check this out. And they had already like mocked up like their idea. And I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm game. And he was like, we literally just call it Black Wave 2. And I said, all right. Because I didn't plan on naming it that, or again, like my idea for that part sounded totally different, but I liked what they did more. Also, it's like, is it like low hanging fruit because we're kind of, both bands are kind of melded together in a way? Sure, I guess. But like at the end of the day, people seemed excited for it. So like that was enough, you know? I don't know. It's just one of those things. I'm like, oh, let's just give it to them. It's easy, you know? I thought it came out cool.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it makes sense as well with Hunter being so like trivial, I guess, core to both bands in their kind of sounds and everything. It makes sense for something like that to come up, even if it is kind of fan service in a way. But sometimes that's what the kind of the best bits are, right? The thing that kind of not shocked me, I guess, but kind of that I wasn't expecting as much is that it's very much still a Psycho Frame track, just with Hunter's vocals on it, and kind of seeing the kind of Psycho Frame comma moodring in my head, I'm like, oh, they're going to have like a shoegaze bridge or something, and it's going to be kind of interesting. And it's like, no, that's just deathcore still, but it's like obviously really sick. I guess that kind of explains that then in the way that it was very much an in-studio kind of thing. You weren't writing for Hunter's vocals, you were writing as an extra song and then kind of just turned up.
If Psycho Frame ever starts singing, probably never will happen. I don't think anyone wants that. But also, I did see like a couple people say like before the song came out, they're like, is this like about to be like a really weird song, or you know, they're just gonna kind of do their thing? And now it can be said, yeah, we just did our thing.
Definitely one of the highlights of the record for me was that straight away. So that's really, really cool to see. I guess from there as well, you've kind of got obviously such a packed out year with obviously the record coming out and the signing. You've also been on a pretty huge tour with Angel Maker, just come off that with a really stacked lineup, as well as kind of going out with Boundaries on that stacked lineup as you kind of release your record, and then heading over here to the Europe and UK with Malevolence in kind of later this year, which is really interesting because obviously you've talked at length in the past about how you didn't really want to make it a touring band, you wouldn't have that intention out of Psycho Frame, and then to kind of go from that not being a reason why you're in the band or why you started the band to being on these huge bills and playing internationally, kind of where did that change kind of come into it, I guess?
Got hungry last year. Played really good shows, like brought the band like on the road for the first time, even if it was very short, and it felt really good. And I just didn't expect it to feel that good. Really started talking about it, just talking about what we could do with it, turn it into, I don't know, the biggest thing it could be. And we knew that we wanted to do a full length, and we knew that Sharp Tone conversations were starting. Something about, fuck it, I'm getting back in the van, like started pulling at me from within my soul. And now I'm back in the fucking van. The Angel Maker tour was great, like long, it's a full US, right? But it was also just like so fun. I had not felt that level of fun in a long time, and like truly just like enjoyed the tour. And then like these next two tours we've got coming up, like the Boundaries tour, I'm so excited. I'm very close with everyone in that band. Like I love them. Their band is wonderful and they're doing so well right now. And I'm just happy for them. And when they asked, I was like, please God, like I would love you guys for a whole month. And like just the whole lineup is good. It's just going to be a good time. And going to Europe, scary idea to like bring your band over to, you know, another country and continent for the first time. But when it was that package that approached us, so I was like, we kind of can't say no to this. So super excited for that one. That's the long answer. The short answer is I'm just hungry. Like I just want to make this band as cool as it can be. I also just like want to give people like kind of what they want. Like there's still plenty of people that like haven't had the chance to see this band that like it. Like when we were doing the Angel Maker tour, you know, you kind of like you see people post things online like that, but then that tour really put it to the test because most every single day of that is a place the band has never been before, and kind of like an insane amount of people like being like, I'm so fucking glad you guys are here. Like I've waited for this for, well, the band hasn't been together that long. So I'm like, well, you've waited 2 years max. So it's just cool. It's cool, and it feels like waiting was maybe worth it, and it also feels like I didn't make a really bad decision.
That's always the good thing to hear after all that. Would you say that, like, as a result of you guys now having the hunger to kind of play live, that you've changed how you write or how the band kind of proceeds with things, you know, writing for shows as opposed to writing for kind of studio listens or anything like that? Or is it still very much the same kind of thing?
It is the same kind of thing. There's definitely a more thought out line of thinking when it comes to the live setting. So specifically with Blueprints for Idle Genocide, the single that we released before Black Wave, the whole big section where the bass drop comes in and all the way up to pretty much the end, the music changed from what I had written the song to. You're killing me, dog. Why do you have to beg now? Come on, girl. The music had changed from what I had like written along to for that song. And it kind of just happened out of nowhere because I went to the shower, got ready to start tracking the song, came back out and was met with, hey, work on something else. We are actually restructuring and like fucking with some things with the song, leaving me being like, okay, came back. The whole thing is different. And it was way better. I loved it way more. I was also intimidated by it because I thought I was done with the song, but it turns out I wasn't. As soon as I heard it, I was like, no, this is exactly what we need to do. Because what we were doing before, like, song is super exciting up to this point, but maybe for a minute and a half, we're not getting any action from this point on. And I don't regret it. Have I tested it live? No, but I will on the Boundaries tour. And I think it'll pass.
It's a pretty mental track to start, especially to start off the album with as well. Kind of sets the tone for the whole thing, and I'm sure it will be one of those ones that kind of stays in the live set for a while with the big moments. The crowd tends to love those a lot, especially on heavier lineups like that one.
Yeah, so I hope it goes over that way. You'd be surprised how many songs we've tried out that we're like, well, I don't know if people love this one as much. So we'll see.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I'll wrap it up there. It's kind of all I already had prepared, so I don't want to wake up any more of your time. So again, thank you so much. Please do check out Psycho Frame's new record out on July 25th. Salvation Laughs in the Face of a Grieving Mother. I keep messing the title up. And please stay posted for our review of the record too. You can always also catch them across the US with Boundaries at the end of July and in the UK and Europe in October and November. Make sure to grab those tickets. They're going to be crazy live. Again, thank you so much, Mike.
Of course, man. I appreciate your time.